Welcome back to the Chai Guys. Just two guys sharing our thoughts, excitement.
And feels over some chai or any cafe beverage, really.
I actually had some chai today. Some chai, hot chai with almond milk.
Wow, it's been a while, dude. I actually
Yeah.
have a cafe beverage today. I have a caramel macchiato from Starbucks.
Uh, so today we're reviewing WandaVision episode 5, the craziest episode yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this last time, but there's no sugarcoating it. It's fucking wild.
It's amazing. It's so good.
Bananas.
It's
But yeah, we have a lot to cover. So we're gonna put the little timestamps down to like each of the sections that we cover, so you can just skip around if you want. But try to make it a little easier for y'all.
yeah. This might get beefy.
I smell like beef. I smell like beef.
Our reviews are like usually long, but this might get a little bit long, so skip around as needed. But first, before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay on top of all our content, all our reactions, reviews, Theory Tuesday episodes, which is a new series we're trying out, and yeah.
Yeah, and if you want access to our more exclusive content, including the full versions of all of these WandaVision reactions and all of our other reactions, as well as some bloopers and other fun things, then subscribe to our Patreon. Join our family of 5,
Yes.
including us.
Please do that. All right, let's get down to our first topic.
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to cover is Wanda. The episode starts off with Wanda and Vision taking care of their twin boys, Tommy and Billy. And we learn that they haven't slept in like 3 days. Wanda cannot get them to sleep. She tries using magic on them,
Yeah.
which is wild, and it doesn't work.
They just laugh it off.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, fuck you, mom. Like, it's not gonna work. And then Vision gets like binkies. It works for about a second, then they like pop them out. It doesn't work. But then they're like, I think we need to bring in some help. Wanda says that, and then immediately after she says that, like not even a second, Agnes just doesn't even knock. Just walks in.
It was so funny. Like Vision was like, he was like, "Oh fuck, I have to pick up this pillow and hide my face while I turn red into my normal form." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He literally was like, "Oh, like I was just looking at this pillow very close."
That killed me, dude.
But also Vision is very clearly like not thrilled that Agnes shows up. Like it looks like he's just getting sick of her shit.
Mhm.
I'm assuming she's just walking in and out of their house like at random all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after that, then Wanda asks Agnes to hold the babies, and then Vision, like being fed up with it, was like, "No, yeah, maybe you shouldn't. Like, I'll hold it." Like,
Yeah, he was like, "No, wait. Yeah, before you do that, wash your hands. Wait, before you do that, don't touch my babies."
Hey, I just had an interesting thought. Yeah, actually, fuck this.
Yeah, like the music or whatever, like the ambiance, like stops, and it's just dead silent. There's no laugh track. She's like, "Yeah, should we run that back? Like, should we take that from the top?" And then like Wanda's like, "What?" And Vision's like more confused than Wanda. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And because like Vision, I guess, broke the script because Agnes was supposed to hold the babies, and he was like, "No." So then like Agnes is like, "What do I do?" Like she's an actress, and like that was those were her lines, or like that was her direction, and someone messed it up. She's like, "What do we do? Like, do we just take it from the top? Like, how does this work?" Like she knows they're in a sitcom.
Did it also feel like it was kind of confusing because they're really playing with us now? Because like, okay, Agnes is in this, Agnes is in on this, like over and over again. But then she was, oh my god, Agnes seems confused. But it was kind of like half and half because at the same time, it was like as if, like she was kind of like mind controlling Wanda. I was like, you want me to take care of your babies in some sort of like, it was like a question, but more of like a statement and order.
You want me to hold the babies?
Yeah, and I think exactly, and I think that scene is another hint that like Wanda is not fully in control, and I really think like the show is really trying to like hit us with like, no, this is Wanda, this is all Wanda, this is all Wanda, and like, but then again, we're halfway in, just about.
Yeah,
There's no way they just revealed like the main villain, the main like source of this, and Wanda's confused, like genuinely confused. Like Jerry said, like she's in a trance, like she's like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Should we take it from the top?
yeah.
But then she snaps out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then Vision like pulls her aside, and he's like, what was that? Like, and Wanda's like, what do you mean? And he was like, everything that just happened. Like, what do you mean? What do I mean?
Yeah, the
And
whole
Wanda,
like theme and everything changed, and it popped out of the sitcom because you could tell it was like more zoomed in camera angles, camera shots. I mean, and they're talking, and that was like their first fight, and they're kind of getting edgy. Well, in the background, fucking Agnes is just like working out and rocking the babies and getting some whiskey. And you point out like he put a drop of whiskey in their milk. It's,
I heard I heard she put a drop of like rum in like, or like dark liquor in like a baby's like milk. It like helps relax them a little bit.
That's like DIY NyQuil.
Yeah, like no more than a drop. Let's not get wild. But yeah, she's like, she also sprays lavender on them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, I don't know. That kind of seems shady. Like, she said it's lavender, but she's still a little shady. I don't know what it is.
No, lavender. I watched some videos, like did some research. Lavender's like, you put like around like babies to like get rid of like demons or something, and that connects to what you said like last review of how, Billy and Tommy in the comics, not Wiccan and Speed. Billy and Tommy are made of Mephisto's shards, and that's like maybe a shout out to that.
Yeah, maybe like, and like it's interesting. Either really is lavender, and like she's like maybe like let Mephisto like, I don't want him to come just yet, so like let's keep him quiet, or it's not lavender and she's doing something weird to the babies. But right after that, they're silent. The babies stop crying, and Vision's like, "Oh my god! Like, do you hear that? Like silence finally." But then they look in the cribs and they're not there.
Yeah,
and then they turn around and the babies are now 5 years old.
Yeah, they're like grown up. I was like, yo, the fuck's this? I wasn't caught by surprise. I was like, oh my god, like, I was like, so time is like moving is like different. Either it's their powers. It's kind of confusing because I think they mentioned like it's them doing it themselves. They're turning themselves older, or time moves at a different pace in this reality.
Yeah, and I actually watched a video like you did, and someone pointed out that everyone in Westview has a wristwatch on, and there's a clock everywhere, and there's always time. Time is involved with everything, which is interesting because the last thing, or one of the last things that Vision says to Wanda is,
"We are out of time."
Yeah. And earlier in Infinity War, Black Widow's like, "How could you be so irresponsible?" And Wanda's like, "We just wanted more time." So like, time in Vision and Wanda's relationship is just a very, very common theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Also, we'll cover this a little more later, but every time there's like some sort of tension between Vision and Wanda, I feel like, or like something's happening, the twins age up, and Agnes is always there. Like Vision and Wanda were like disagreeing on like what the hell just happened, and then the twins are 5, and it distracts them obviously because their babies just aged 5 years in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, it could be them with their powers, or it could be a correlation with Agnes, but who knows? But yeah, let's move on to our next topic. Okay, so the next section that we're covering is when Monica wakes up in the hospital after being yeeted. So her tests show nothing, and she just like hops. She was recommended to like stay in bed for a while, and she's like, "Nope, I'm getting out of bed," and just leaves, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, literally her tests are like a white screen. Like they can't even read her brain. And they're like, "Oh, let's do some more tests." She's like, "Nah." She walked out of the hospital like nothing happened. But then that goes straight into a S.W.O.R.D meeting.
Yeah, really cool. Like very cool.
Very cool. Cool ass table. Like everybody's like, around it. A big like, I don't know, like Mission Impossible kind of vibes. You said something else the other day.
It was like it's like Avatar. You know, like in Avatar, not Avatar: The Last Airbender, but James Cameron's Avatar, where they're in like that huddle room, and they're like, "Oh my god, like these blue people are bad. They're antagonists. We just want their oil, but keep that on the down low. But yeah, they're bad." And you have like Jake Sully, aka Jimmy, in this situation. He's like, "No, like one is good. Like she has some good in her."
Yeah, exactly. It was like a very cool, like, I like the meeting. I like the real world vibes we get from S.W.O.R.D. But what I don't like is that director Tyler Hayward is a dick. Like, he's just the worst. He kind of gives him the rundown on Wanda, like her whole history. She calls her the chief victimizer of the situation.
Yeah, it's like, shut up. Like,
fuck off. He's going through, like, literally all of it, but he's trying to paint her as a villain the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she was against the Avengers. And then like Jimmy's like, okay, yeah, but then she gained their trust and became an Avenger, and he was like, yeah, well, like,
Yeah.
and then
But she's like, Monica described this in her report that she was in a lot of pain and like described like how it was like terrifying being under that trance. And,
Yeah.
and it was so funny like seeing Jimmy. Jimmy was like to Darcy, I don't speak ill of people, but
And then Darcy goes, yeah, Hayward's a dick, and it cuts like right as she's about to say dick. I love Darcy. But yeah, he calls Wanda a terrorist, and then Monica's like, no, I don't think she has ill intent. Like, I think she's just like grieving or like something's happening. Like, and then he's like, no. But then an interesting thing is that Tyler's like, does she have an alias? Like, does she have any funny name, like silly nickname? And like, he's obviously referencing Scarlet Witch, but she's never been called that in the MCU yet.
No, she's been called a witch, but that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, by Tony Stark. But she's been calling like he's asking a lot of weird questions. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, one, they're, like, hinting Scarlet Witch, she's going to be called that eventually, but also maybe he was saying, like, all the Avengers have names.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't have one, so she's not an Avenger, she's a villain. It was weird.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, yeah, but, like, he was very, very much trying to make her a villain to fit his agenda, I think.
Yeah, antagonist. Yeah, fuck you, Tyler. Yeah, fuck you.
Bitch ass.
All right, so the next point is S.W.O.R.D took Vision's body and they're like experimenting with it, and they have it.
Our theory was right. Yeah. So Tyler, out of nowhere, out of his butt, pulls out that they have footage from 9 days ago of Wanda breaking into the S.W.O.R.D facility. Which, by the way, she just goes in there, like just opens the doors, like gets in there. She flies into a room on camera. And she sees Vision's body, but Vision's body is literally on like 5 different tables, completely disassembled.
That scared me. I was like, "This is Frankenstein."
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very Frankenstein, and it's like Wanda obviously is pissed because not only do they have his corpse, they fully just took him apart. Like he's scrapped.
They're grave robbers.
They are grave robbers. But then the camera cuts to Tyler's face, or Monica said, like, when was this? And he goes, 9 days ago. Wanda stormed the facility, stole Vision's body, and resurrected him. But I think that it's interesting that we don't see Wanda actually take his body. We see her break in and see his body, but then he conveniently doesn't show the footage of her taking it.
Yeah.
Also, why did he sit on this footage for 9 days?
Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of conflict like during that thing. Like Tyler jumps in, aka Mephisto, hopefully, and they like have like they duke it out, and Wanda wins that one. And
yeah, like exactly, or she's gonna steal the body, and Tyler like panics and makes a deal with Mephisto, and it's like, if you can like get her not to steal his body, so we can keep making weapons with it, like give you my soul or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, very weird that should be very, very public, known information by all of S.W.O.R.D that Wanda stormed in, and he just doesn't tell anyone for 9 days.
Yeah, very suspicious.
Also, he says Jimmy says, "Oh, that violates the Sokovia Accords," and Jimmy says, "Yeah." Tyler says, "Yeah, it also violates Vision's own living will. He didn't want to be made a weapon, but Wanda's not making him a weapon. They were. S.W.O.R.D was very clearly experimenting on her making a weapon.
The irony,
so, like he's like projecting, he's projecting like their guilt onto Wanda and trying to make her a villain.
I hate Tyler.
We had suspicion that he was the worst, but now like he's genuinely the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Billy and Tommy, it cuts back to the sitcom world, and Billy and Tommy are like they're looking over the sink, and there's a bunch of bubbles in there. And Wanda walks in, and she's like, "Oh, like, what are you guys doing?" Like, and they're super suspicious, like standing in front of the sink. It's actually like really, I like the way they commute. Like,
they're so innocent.
Pretty cute too. The kids like trying not to get in trouble. And then something barks in the sink, and like it turns out they're hiding a dog. They're trying to clean up the dog they wanted to keep.
Wanda's like, "What's a puppy doing in my sink?" And then I think like Billy or Tommy was like, "Doggy paddling."
Yeah, that was so funny. I was like, "That's a smart ass. Like he's gonna be in trouble."
Yeah.
And yeah, and they like Wanda's like, "Well, listen, guys. Like this is a dog is a really big responsibility. Like we can't just like get one in here. Like we can't just take one in. Plus, we got to get it back to its owner, but then it doesn't have a collar." And she's like, "Oh shit, I'm running out of reasons not to give him the dog." But then she's like, "Yeah, it's a big responsibility. Like,
maybe at least 10 to get a dog."
Yeah, you need to be at least like, let's say like when you're 10, and then all of a sudden the kids are like, bet. Just 8, 10.
And that's the first occurrence. They're like, oh my god, they're in control of their ages.
Yeah, because they look at each other like and smirk and they're like, okay, bet. Like, and they turn 10. But funnily enough, who was there when they did it?
Agnes.
Vision also was there. Like, rewind a little bit, and he was like, yeah, kids, like, yeah, like boys, like it's a tough responsibility. And like I think he says like we don't even have like the stuff to take care of it. And then literally Vision out loud goes, and here comes, and like here she's about to come with exactly what we need. And then Agnes walks back at the exact second with a doggy, like a kennel, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Like a little house, dog house.
She's like, hey, kiddos. I was like, shut up.
It's like, I heard you're getting a dog from the window. We're like, no, you didn't hear that from the window. Like, you know something.
Yeah. Vision was so pissed. He was like, right, she's about to come with something that we really need right about now. And yeah.
You called it perfectly. And then he's very suspicious. Like, he's very, very suspicious. And then Wanda uses her magic, like, in front, to make the collar.
Mm-hmm.
And in front of Agnes, and Vision's like, what are you doing? Like, we're supposed to be hiding our powers. And then she was like, no, Agnes didn't even, like, notice when the kids turned 5 right in front of her. And then Vision's like, that's not the agreement we had. And, like, Vision's getting more and more suspicious, but also more and more upset with Wanda. That, like, they're not on the same page. He's getting frustrated.
It's like Wanda's being drawn more to Agnes than Vision.
Yeah, she's, like, fully buying into this sitcom world. And, like, it's kind of like Vision. You said it in the reaction. Vision's an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
In their relationship now. But yeah, this is when like tensions start to turn in the episode.
All right. Our next point is with Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy. We finally get these three like interacting with each other. It was already awesome with Jimmy and Darcy. But so to start off all out with them like planning and doing more research, Jimmy comes in with 3 coffees. And I love that because when we were the Chai Guys, we love cafe beverages. It's such a small call out, small detail that I noticed that like Darcy asked for a coffee from like Tyler or like other people and nobody got her one, and Jimmy got her one, and you can see Darcy's face like glow up, and I really like that.
So happy that she got a coffee. Yeah, I love that. That's like a little thing. And it's like, wow, she finally got her coffee. Yeah. Also, he's just a stand-up dude. Like he's just such a goober.
Yeah, I love him.
I love him so much. But yeah, you were saying, I remember you picked it up immediately. Monica's talking all these like science terms. She's like, okay, so I need like uranium for the photons, which is a reference, by the way, because Monica's superhero name is Photon. But then something for something for something else. Like, and you picked up right away that she was trying to, and I need it in a truck. She was trying to build the truck that we see in the trailer that tries to ram into the barrier.
Yeah.
And then she's like, is that possible? And Darcy's like, well, theoretically. And
I can do theoretically.
Theoretically, which I always love. Like, or like, never tell me the odds. I love that. And then Monica's like face lights up and she goes, oh, I know an aerospace engineer who'd be up for this challenge. But it's not even like a throwaway line. Like they make a point of like lingering on her face and then showing us texting this aerospace engineer, whoever this is. And I think it'll play a role later, but I personally think it's Reed Richards.
Yeah, same. That's what I was gonna say.
Fantastic. I genuinely think that was a little Easter egg. And
oh man,
that's I love the Fantastic Four, and that's just nuts. And we know they're coming. So
yeah, we'll break that down more in the threes, but it's such a small detail that really gets us hyped up.
Yeah.
And then like I like how Darcy has named the whole Westview area the hex, because first of all it's in the shape of a hex, and there's so many hex shapes that show up in the show. So she's like, oh yeah, it's my own thing, I call it the hex. Really cool.
It's like, also I think it's a reference to in the comics Wanda's magic is called hex magic.
Yeah,
I think that's a reference to that. Yeah. But like also the show keeps hammering how important hexagons are for some reason, so we know they're gonna reveal something.
It's like 666, Mephisto, Satan, and then Wanda. I actually didn't know until after you said that. Until after I did some more research and you said that like her powers are called hex.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot. This scene is jam packed actually, because then they talk about Wanda like being powerful and like how she's like controlling all of this, or something about her being powerful.
She got her powers from a stone, and so did Captain Marvel.
Exactly. And then when they say Captain Marvel, when Jimmy says Captain Marvel, Monica's like, we're not talking about her right now. And like, she's very clearly not happy. And like, even Darcy like is drinking her coffee, and she's like that's tea. Like, I don't know what went on there, but we should drop it. So we don't know what they were literally best friends when she was a little girl. So I don't know what went down, but something.
I think I don't think anything went down. It's like the presence of nothing going down, because she was off world when her mom died, and like when Thanos, and I think if she was kind of pissed, she was like, I mean, salty. Like, you weren't there, and you were like my mom's best friend, and you weren't there when she died. You weren't there like for me. You weren't there for
Exactly.
selfish bitch who cares about the universe.
Monica's confirmed being Captain Marvel too, so I think they're going to address that.
Yeah.
But also that ties into how would Monica know that she wasn't there when her mom died? Because Monica was snapped out of existence.
Yeah, she probably asked questions.
But Monica knew that. She literally said Wanda would have taken down Thanos on her own if he didn't call a blitz.
True, you ain't never told no lie. You ain't never told no lie.
So that's an Endgame thing. And Monica, how would she know about that? Obviously, it's not a real movie in their universe. But I think they got debriefed on like Endgame events, because that she literally knew exactly that Wanda would have destroyed.
Oh yeah. I think, dude, I think she's like gaining, like, kind of segue, but like Monica's slowly like just like gaining on. She's like, okay, I don't have Captain Marvel screwed me, and like I don't like her anymore. Wanda's like my go-to now. Like, I'm gonna pump her up and boast her up and just leave Captain Marvel like on the ground.
Yeah, I really think she's a Wanda stan now. And yeah, but I think maybe like maybe she found out during that debriefing, like maybe Captain Marvel debriefed them. Who knows who debriefed them, or like who like gave S.W.O.R.D information about what happened in the Battle of Endgame. But I think they were like, Captain Marvel, like something like, oh, like she probably went up to her and she's like, oh, like where were you when my mom died? And she's like, I'm so sorry, like I was off world. But she was like, wow, you bitch, like you weren't even fucking there for your best friend, like when she had cancer. And that's for their beef. But yeah, wild stuff. But then Monica, being a bad bitch, is like, wait,
my clothes that Wanda, like I got the clothes I got from going to the Hex.
She goes to the lab and
shoots it.
Yeah, she shoots. She just really. There's a thing with Marvel people just taking guns and just shooting them, like Peggy Carter.
Yes, I think it works.
Just tell someone you're going to do something. Don't just grab people's guns. But she just starts shooting her pants, and all the bullets literally just crumble and fall to the ground. They're made of 87% Kevlar, she sees. And she theorizes, she figures out that like she was wearing a Kevlar vest when she went into the bubble, and Wanda isn't creating things, she's rewriting reality. So she made her outfit out of the Kevlar because she just rewrote the reality, which is crazy and a great way to show her like reality warping powers.
I'm so glad, like they could have just like stated that, but they showed us it, and I'm glad how we got like more like just the mechanics and the physics of how everything works.
Exactly.
It's satisfying.
Yeah, it's good writing. Like like you said, it's better to show and not tell.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's better to let us like be like, oh my god, that's crazy. But then because of that, she's like, okay, so she's changing things
that don't fit in the timeline.
Yeah. So what if we brought something in there that already fit in that didn't need to be changed? And then it cuts to them sending an 80s technology drone into the bubble.
Yeah. Which works seamlessly though. It just goes in and does the thing.
It goes in, nothing gets changed at all. Yeah, it just flies in there. But before we get to see what happens to it, it cuts.
Yeah.
So before we can see what happens to the drone, it cuts to Vision once again at his computational services work, but an 80s version of it. And they have like computers now. They're not just doing the paper thing that you were talking about, Jerry, with the cards.
Yeah.
But they all of a sudden like all the computers get this email, and this electronic mail, as Norm calls it, and it's from Darcy or from S.W.O.R.D, and it says like information regarding the Maximoff anomaly.
And everybody in the office starts reciting the email. Crazy.
Word for word, like the For the Children thing. Like they all go into this trance, and they're talking about how there's a bunch of radiation, but they call it the Maximoff anomaly. And obviously, Vision's like, "Oh my god, that's my wife's last name," and then he like turns off the computer with his like powers, and then everybody stops chanting and like starts laughing, like, "Oh, what a funny joke," and like goes back into their trance. But then Vision touches Norm's like temples, and like there's a yellow flash, and like he awakens, I guess, and he's like, "Oh my god, like you gotta help me, like I gotta get out of here, I gotta call my sister, like our dad is sick." Like he's like a normal person again. He's whoever he was before his brain got hijacked. And Vision's like, "What is like? Slow down! I don't know what the hell's going on. You gotta like help me out." And then Norm is literally like terrified, and he's like, "You gotta stop her, like please. She's in my head. None of this is mine." And it's like terrifying. And I feel like we assumed that he's talking about Wanda.
But no, it could be Agnes.
I really think that there's a reason that they said she and not Wanda.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And Vision even says like who, and he's like, "She's in my head," and he doesn't like clarify.
No.
I think it's a red herring, and it's Agnes.
Yeah, and it's this scene's like the Maximoff anomaly, and then she's in my head. It's just like antagonizing Wanda even more.
Yeah, it's very smart, like to kind of get us off of the path, like just kind of give us hints in another direction, throw us off the scent. But also, really quick, we'll cover this more in the theory video. But like, it could even be like Dottie. It could not be. We could be like double red herring and not even have it be Agnes. Who knows?
Yeah, because Dottie seems like a very main character.
Where did she go?
Yeah.
So yeah, then it cuts out of the work vibe and it goes back to the house, and Wanda's alone with the kids, and they're talking about family, and the kids are suspicious. The kids are really aware. Weirdly, they're like, "Mom, why is Dad at work? It's Saturday." She's like, "No, it's not. It's Monday." And like she's like trying to like switch it in her head, it looks like, and they're like, "No, this morning it was Saturday," and like they like aren't as susceptible to her magic, I guess.
No, or like what's happening? Okay, so like what's happening? Like they're more aware and they're on top of everything that's happening in the timeline, and Wanda's off.
Yeah, or that's true. That could also be the case. I also think maybe, and that fits into maybe they're more aware because Mephisto's in control of this, and they're shards of his soul, so they're extensions of him.
Yeah,
all of it. We'll cover more in the theories, but yeah. So then Wanda's like, "Listen, your dad and I, like, we're not on the same page right now, but like it's temporary. Like, family's forever. Like," and she gives a really nice speech. She's like, "He's your brother. Like, he'll always be your brother." It's really nice. And then they're like, "Do you have a brother?" And like Jerry and I were both like, "Oh fuck!" Like,
yeah.
And then like she's like, "Yeah, like
I do."
Like, "Yeah, I do." Like, but he's really far away. And like I was like, "Oh, that's a nice way to explain the fact that he's dead." But like, and then Jerry and I were like, "Oh my god!" And then there's a knock, and then there's Sparky runs to the door, and Jerry and I were like, "Holy shit!"
Who the fuck are you?
Is this correct? No, there's no one at the door, and well, they go outside, and then they see the '80s drone come back. Now, this is where it was, and we cut between the sitcom and the S.W.O.R.D base, and they're trying to communicate with Wanda, and they're like, so I don't even remember what they were saying. But bottom line is, Wanda gets pissed. Her eyes turn red, and then Tyler, in a twist of events, goes fire, and then Monica's like, "Wait, what? Like, what do you mean fire? This isn't an armed drone," and it is, and he's like, "Fire the missile!" Like, no. Dude, you're an idiot, first of all.
Yeah.
Wanda's more pissed, but also, why is he trying to kill Wanda in front of her kids? Like, he has an agenda, very clearly.
Like, kill Wanda and the kids, because the kids are right there.
Missile, yeah, like, and Sparky. But, like, yeah, like, what? It's very, very, like, he's very much like, let's kill Wanda. Like, and, like, let's get rid of this. And tries.
Fails.
Doesn't work. Then we just cut to outside of the bubble.
Yeah. Wanda throws and chucks the drone out. It's like covered in her red aura, and she walks out in her Avengers costume uniform, and she's amazing.
The one that she was wearing when she like broke into the S.W.O.R.D base, but like it was sick to see her walk out of the bubble, and like the bubble still worked when she walked out of it, which is kind of wild. she's like, "Is this yours?" And she's just like fully in her bad bitch persona, like ready to fuck shit up. And she's like, "Listen, this is your only warning. Stay out of my home. I won't bother you if you don't bother me." And you could tell like she's really like she could have killed all of them realistically.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't want any problems. She just is like literally just stay out of my house and I won't bother you. Like, and then she's like, "Well, and the director's like, well, you're holding people hostage," and she's like, "Well, I'm not the one with the guns." And they have some back and forth, a very tense back and forth, and she calls him director. I'm not the one with the guns, director. But Jerry and I noticed he never says that he's a director.
Yeah.
Like that scene, so she knows him.
So they probably met before, like you said, maybe in the when Wanda went into Vision, and that was just uncut footage that we haven't seen.
Exactly. Maybe they met. Maybe they fought, like you said. But yeah, and then Monica, which I love this scene, tries to like level with Wanda, and he's like, "Listen, like and she's like, 'Oh, you're still here,' and she gets pissed and like starts to do magic. She's like, 'No, listen, like I didn't know the drone was armed. Also, like I know that you trust me. You let me into the bubble. You trust me to deliver your babies. Like you're a telepath. I know that at some like level, you know that I'm a good guy. I'm on your side. I'm an ally.'" And then Wanda like doesn't hurt her or anything. I think she agrees. And then she's like, "Listen, all I'm gonna say is don't come back. This is my home. Like, I won't let anyone take anything from me again." And she looks directly at Tyler. So like she knows something. And then she mind controls like all 20 soldiers and they all turn their guns directly on Tyler.
Yeah. And this is a call out to like maybe Magneto from X-Men, because Magneto takes control of all the guns and turns it to all the police officers.
Exactly. And obviously, we know that in the comics, Magneto is her dad, so that was a really cool callback.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really cool scene too. She literally mind controls him and just walks away, and like Tyler's literally shitting his pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like they don't shoot or anything. But before the scene ends, the bubble turns red. Like the bubble turns red, like her powers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like it's implied that people are not getting into that dome.
Yeah. or it's implied that like she doesn't care if people know about this or not. Like, this is my home. It's red. You'll know it's red. And
True.
Or it's maybe her just like losing control and being more mentally unstable, because the red saturation throughout the whole episode, like oversaturation, and the red around the boundary, could be a good hit.
And we got a lot of hints that like even if she's in control, she's struggling. She's losing her grip, like with the kids and everything. But yeah, I didn't even think of that. People can see the bubble now. That's a good point.
So the next point is a commercial by Bounty, aka Lagos, in this universe. And Peter, why is it called Lagos?
So as Tyler like pointed out earlier, Lagos is where in the beginning of Civil War, Crossbones like almost blows up Captain America, and Wanda like catches the explosion and tries to get it up in the air, but loses control, and it blows up a building and kills like 15 people or something and injures a bunch. And like that's the whole spark for the Sokovia Accords and like Wanda's guilt. And it's a big traumatic moment in her life, which is all the commercials are traumatic moments in her life. Yeah. But yeah, and it even says for when you make a mess that you want to clean it up or something, you know, and I was like, come on, like that's like on the nose right there. Yeah. But someone also pointed out really quick that all the commercials are not only traumatic experiences, like the Stark bomb, the Strucker experimenting on them, Hydra, working for Hydra, and now this. But they also signify Infinity Stones, kind of. And someone was like, the toaster, the dot is in the center, just like the Mind Stone in Vision's head. That's the weakest one. And then Time, watch. The Hydra soapbox looks like the Tesseract. And then the red liquid looks like the ether, the Reality Stone, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. So our next point is when they're outside, Sparky goes missing, and the kids and Wanda try to look for him, and they should be around the neighborhood. But no, Agnes finds him dead in a bush, like all wrapped up.
Suspiciously, Agnes is holding him dead in a bush. And like, which is really, it took a really dark turn. It's pretty traumatic for the kids. Like they just were looking for their dog and it's dead. But apparently in the comics, I found out after doing some research that Sparky dies the same way by eating a plant that he wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very suspicious that Agnes finds him and like that he was over there. But then the kids are like, "Mommy, bring him back. Like you can fix anything. Fix the dead." And we were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Like,
Wanda's like, no, we can't do that. This is life. Like this is how life goes, and it hurts. And the kids they try to grow up and like so they can like move past it. But Wanda's like, no, don't grow up. Like you gotta like take it in and really. But it's so ironic because Wanda's doing the complete opposite.
yeah, I think that this is like we were talking about in the reaction. Like I think that Wanda in this bubble is going through the 5 stages of grief. And like she's like learning, like she needs to accept it. Like she needs to accept loss, like Pietro and her parents and Vision more specifically. But yeah, she has a nice talk with the kids about grief. And they're like, "No, mommy, like you can fix. You said family is forever. Fix the dead. Bring him back." And Agnes is like, "Whoa, you can bring people back from the dead?" And Wanda's like, "No, like I they can't do that." Like, and I don't know. I feel like Agnes is acting because technically she brought Vision back, but we don't know how and if it was Wanda. So it's like a whole thing.
She's a great actor. The actor is great at acting as somebody else. It's like meta, very meta.
Very, very meta. But yeah, it's a whole thing where the kids try to encourage her to bring Sparky back from the dead, and she refuses. Thank goodness.
All right, so we're getting down into near the end of the episode. It gets very tense, and this is like really like the pre-climax because we're going to move on to the next point, which is amazing. But I think the whole episode we really were in Vision's shoes. We were in like we were like asking all these questions, and Vision's asking the same exact questions, and he begins to like fight with Wanda, and it just escalates.
Yeah, it gets heated pretty fast. Like he like starts off very calm, and he's like, "Listen, I talked to Norm today," and Wanda's like, "Okay, congratulations." And then he's like, he told like he's scared. Wanda like he has a real life. Like, what is the Maximoff anomaly? And then she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, I'm not talking about this right now. We're going to bed." And then she literally starts to roll the credits, which is like crazy. She's fully in control, like, or at least subconsciously, like. And then Vision's like, "No, we're talking about this like now." And he follows her to the other room, and then he's like starts getting pissed. He starts yelling.
He turns red. He turns into his original self.
His original self, and he like it's just such good acting by Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen in this scene. And he's like, "Listen, like Wanda, I want to believe that whatever this is, started off subconsciously, but like these are real people. Like you're hurting them. They're in pain." And then Wanda's like, I don't know exactly what, like she like seems confused, and I think like it's trying to tell us like she might not be fully in control.
Mm-hmm.
She's just going with it because it's what she wants. Yeah. And then she's like, "Listen, I don't know how this started." Or she says like, no, she says like, "Oh, I'm not doing all this, I promise." And then Vision literally gets pissed and levitates, and she's like, "Stop lying to me." And then Wanda levitates right back. And they're having this argument in midair.
Vision's like, "You can't control me like you control them." And I was, yo, Vision, yeah, you're on top of that. And he's like freaking out. Like he's angry, but also like more fearful because he's saying, "I can't remember anything before any of this. Like, what is this?"
Yeah, he literally goes, "I can't remember my life before this. I'm scared." And right when he says "I'm scared," Wanda like de-levitates. I don't know what the word is. And goes back to the ground, and like you could tell that hit like a string. Like Wanda's like, "What am I doing? Like he's not the enemy. Like I love him. Like he's scared." So then she's like trying to reason with him, and then Vision comes back down. He's like, "Wanda, like I don't understand what's happening," and she's like, "Listen, I don't even know how this started. Like I really don't know." Oh, she said everything that's been done here, it's for us. It's for you and me. And then Vision goes, "What's outside of Westview?" And then Wanda goes, "You don't want to know, trust me." And like we'll cover this more in the theory video, but I think that Vision's body is still in the S.W.O.R.D facility or it's somewhere. And like she's like, "Listen, you don't want to know, but you are fully dead and you're being used as a weapon," which is what he didn't want to be used as. So you're using you to develop weapons. And so she thinks she's protecting him. And then she's like, "Wanda, like what is this?" And he's like, and she literally says, "I don't know how this thing started."
Yeah.
And like very, very genuine. And it seems like they're kind of like teaming up, like they're reconciling, and they're maybe like both like, "Wait, maybe we should figure." Like Wanda's like, "You know what? He's scared. Maybe people are in pain. Maybe we should figure this out." And then all of a sudden, right on cue, to distract them, there's a knock on the door.
Yeah, but it's not Agnes, because you mentioned that like Agnes just walks in. So we were like, yo, who is this?
Yeah, like who is this mystery person? And then Vision like looks at Wanda, and Wanda's like, that wasn't me. Like I didn't make that happen.
And Vision's like, no, I don't believe you. Like I was like, I don't believe Wanda either. Like she's just saying shit.
At that point, like I don't know if and like she like looks at her, and Wanda like gets like really sad. Like it's a really good acting. She's like, you don't believe me, like do you? And like you could tell she's genuinely, it's not her. Whoever, she didn't make that happen. And like to interrupt the heart to heart they're having, they go to the door. She opens the door, and she like is confused, and then they cut. And Jerry and I were both like, "Oh
fuck.
my god!"
I think we said fuck, like exact words.
If you know who the fuck is at the door right now, like I'm gonna be pissed if this episode ends. And all of a sudden, you see white hair, and Jerry and I both freaked out because there's only one person who has white hair like that, and it is Pietro.
Yeah.
Quicksilver. But specifically, Fox's X-Men Quicksilver.
Yeah, and it's so meta because Darcy was like, wait, they recasted Pietro, and they recasted Pietro in that in the sitcom, but they also recast him in real life. That's what we think. But we'll dive into like what could happen like in our theories episode.
Exactly. And like, yeah, it's very clearly X-Men Quicksilver, Pietro. And he has like this weird thick Jersey accent. He's like, what? I can't give my sister a little squeeze? And she's like, what is happening? And like, she like hugs him, but like, you could tell like she's confused. She's like, what the fuck is going on? I've never seen this person before in my life.
But you know what got me, dude? It was so emotional because Wanda looks so like happy, but confused and sad, emotional. But then, do you remember when in Pietro, Evan Peters like kind of like nods? Like oh, this is like, he nods as if like this is me, like hug. I think that got me because I know how much Quicksilver and Wanda like their bond is like so strong, and that really got to me.
They were brother and sister, and they're twins, but like they're literally like they were so connected, and like you could like when he dies in Age of Ultron, like Wanda literally feels it from however far she is. Like, and yeah, exactly. You said like she's like confused, but it's like the Vision thing. She's confused, but she doesn't care. Like she's like, this is like my brother's back. Like, and she's so overwhelmed with emotion. But well, like Jerry said, we'll talk about it more in our theory video. But it's very telling that he didn't recognize Vision, and Vision didn't recognize him, because Pietro from our universe knew Vision, and Vision him. And like it's just very, very. And the audio description, by the way, for the episode says she sees Quicksilver from the Fox's X-Men universe.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I saw someone made a video about it, and I was like, okay, so like either they're really tricking us here, or that's literally the multiverse, and we got X-Men in the MCU for the first time.
And we'll expand this like way more. This is like the conclusion of our review, but we're gonna expand more of like how good timing this was, of how they're about to fight WandaVision, and they're kind of like settling it down, and they're gonna meet in the middle and like try to get to the bottom of this. But it was good timing that Quicksilver, Evan Peters, came at that exact moment to break the tension.
And yeah, and one more thing that is very fishy that we will expand more. Why did the alarms in the S.W.O.R.D facility go off when Pietro showed up at the door?
Yeah, that's kind of sketchy. Like Mephisto.
Did someone enter the bubble without authorization? Like how? Oh my god! Yeah, we'll get into it. Theory Tuesday.
Yeah. But thanks for sticking with us with another review. We hope you liked our conversations and our thoughts on this review, and stick around for our next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon.
Yeah, and that was crisp.
Yeah.
And more exclusive content, like the full version of this reaction and all of our other reactions and bloopers, and who knows what else we have up our sleeves, because we're magicians like that. Subscribe to our Patreon, and you will not be disappointed. You'll find some cool stuff on there, and you'll love it.
Yep. We're the Try Guys, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.